there's one plant that broke every rule of modern farming. A crop that doesn't need fertilizer, doesn't need irrigation, and doesn't even need to be replanted. You plant it once, and it feeds you forever. This plant fed entire civilizations, kept soldiers alive when everything else failed, and survived frost that wiped out potatoes and wheat. And then, without warning, it vanished from our memory, almost as if someone wanted us to forget it. Its name? The sunroot, also known as the sunchoke. An ancient perennial that's far stronger than it looks. Centuries ago, indigenous tribes across North America treated it as a gift from the earth. A single piece buried in the fall turned into dozens of tubers by spring. And in winter, it simply waited beneath the snow, ready to be dug up when no other food survived. Early explorers wrote about it with disbelief. A plant that grew 3 meters tall, followed the sun like a sunflower, and stored its energy underground, in roots packed with minerals, natural prebiotics, and slow-burning carbohydrates that kept people alive. During the Lewis and Clark expedition, the sunroot saved the explorers when they were days away from starvation. Native families shared the roots with them, dug from small animal burrows, giving them just enough energy to continue their journey. But the real test came centuries later. During World War I and II, when crops failed, rations dried up, and millions faced hunger, the sunroot refused to die. Potato fields froze. Wheat fields were burned or stolen. But under the soil, the sunroot waited. Families who knew about it survived because of it. Villages that lost everything else still had food hidden beneath the earth. And yet, after the wars ended, people rejected it. They associated the plant with fear, famine, and desperate years they never wanted to remember again. The agricultural industry didn't help either. You can't mass harvest it with machinery. It doesn't store well in warehouses. And you can't easily commercialize it for huge profit. It grows on its own, spreads on its own, and provides free food that no company can truly control. Today, as the climate changes, droughts intensify and crop failures rise, scientists are looking at it again. A plant that withstands minus 30 degrees Celsius, needs 1/3 the water of corn, and produces more calories per acre than potatoes in harsh conditions. In some parts of Europe, farmers call it the unkillable crop. Will this forgotten plant become a hero of the future? Maybe, but one thing is certain. We didn't lose it. We just forgot it. And what sleeps beneath the earth might be more important than we ever imagined. But the sunroot story doesn't end in the past. In fact, its most important chapter may be happening right now. Across the world, farmers are starting to notice something unsettling. Soils are collapsing. Droughts are lasting longer. And the crops we rely on, corn, wheat, potatoes, are struggling in temperatures they were never bred for. But the sunroot? It doesn't care. It grows in soil too poor for vegetables. It survives droughts that turn fields to dust. Its roots dig deep, breaking hard ground, restoring nutrients, and rebuilding land that modern farming destroyed. Some researchers call it nature's underground engine. A plant that heals the soil while feeding the people who depend on it. And here's where things become interesting. Communities that grow sunroot today aren't massive farms or corporations. They're small growers, homesteaders, gardeners, and families who want one simple thing: food security that no one can take away from them. Because you can't control this plant. You can't patent it. You can't tell it to grow only when it's profitable. It spreads without asking permission and produces more than what's planted, which makes some people uncomfortable. A crop that feeds people for free? A food source that doesn't require constant buying, selling, or chemical inputs. It doesn't fit the system, And maybe that's why it disappeared. Not because it failed, but because it succeeded outside the structure that agriculture has built. Yet today, as more people search for resilience, as more families want food that survives heat waves, storms, and uncertainty, the sunroot is being rediscovered. Chefs are bringing it back to high-end restaurants. Researchers are studying its genetics for climate-proof agriculture, and gardeners are planting it for one simple reason. It never stops giving. One small patch can feed a household year after year. A single forgotten piece in the soil becomes next season's harvest. It's not just a crop. It's a living backup plan, a quiet reminder that nature has solutions far older than our problems. So the next time you see a wild sunflower growing on the side of the road, look closer, because beneath the soil, hidden under the surface, might be one of the most powerful foods we ever abandoned. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to bring it back.